Hello and welcome. My name is Manuel Quintana with Pragmatic Works. And in this session, in this little video here, we're going to be kind of revamping. We're going to refresh our knowledge around Microsoft Fabric capacity licensing. So we're just going to look at kind of what are your options when it comes to Microsoft Fabric, because there are choices to be made. Financially, what kind of impacts those can have, how you can actually do this, right? How you can actually kind of start and set up and provision your own capacity right now if you wanted to, and some considerations you can have depending on the decisions you do make, right? The first and foremost thing I'll always mention, a great proof of concept capability to really see is Fabric the right choice for your organization, is to leverage the Fabric trial. We have some videos on that. It's available unless it's been turned off at the tenant level, but all organizations will have access to leveraging a Fabric trial capacity, which for the most part will mimic an F-64 SKU. We'll see more about that in a moment, but that'll let you know if we're using the trial and it's being underutilized, then maybe we don't need to go that scale that high. If it's underperforming, right? If it's overutilized and we're hitting capacity limits, then we probably need to go higher than an F-64. But it's there, it's free for 60 days. Definitely something you need to be looking at. Before you purchase into getting a capacity, you should be going through and doing some testing using a trial. It's there, it's available, why not, right? So once you understand Fabric's the one for me, what are my choices as far as purchasing and then implementing this into my end-to-end process? So the choices we're gonna have, and we're just gonna look at some of the official Microsoft documentation. So if we look, I'm just on the pricing page here for Microsoft Fabric. We can see we can go here and you can choose things like region and stuff like that just to check. For me, let's just say I'm in East US. So I'm going to go over there and click on East US for my region. And you can see you can look at this either broken down monthly or hourly. Hourly or year, when we go to reserve pricing, that'll be looked at monthly versus yearly. Let's see what we talk about. Pay as you go or reservation. These are your two options. It may be that you go one or the other, a combination of both. Realistically, and this is more of a kind of observation of working with other clients, that I think most of the common scenarios you're going to have here is that the organization is going to look at, for more production purposes, a reserved pricing. So what you see here is called a reservation. Predictable price, predictable performance for your production workloads. And more for the development workloads, right? You'll probably go with the pay-as-you-go, a resource that you will need to manage to really maximize the cost there. And you'll see what I mean here in a moment. So I think generally a combination of both makes sense for a lot of organizations. But here's your pricing, broken down SKU by SKU. F2 the lowest, with F2048, I said 56 before, 2048 being the highest. And you can see it can get pretty pricey, but the main difference here is, right, if we compare, just let's go with the common one is the F-64, right? Also, as we're looking at this, if you're coming from a Power BI premium background, you might be wondering, well, what about P-SKUs? We're looking at this from the perspective of a new customer. As of right now, new customers do not have the option of purchasing P or premium SKUs. Existent P-SKU premium customers, they may still have their P capacities, and they may continue until that basically agreement or contract ends, and then they'll be switched over to an F when they potentially renew. So as of right now, you cannot purchase premium. For equivalency purposes, a P1 would be equivalent performance-wise to an F-64. There are some websites out there that kind of show that lineup, but new customers, you cannot purchase P-SKU. So that's why it's not here. But we can see if we focus on that kind of common F-64, which seems to be a common breakpoint, I don't think it's as common anymore because now Copilot is actually available for any SKU. But we can see the pay-as-you-go is a little over $3,000 more than the reserve pricing. But that would be is if you use the pay-as-you-go option 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's what it's going to cost you a month. So it should be noted, pay-as-you-go, as it sounds, for those coming from an Azure background, you're already familiar with this. You can pause this. You can basically stop the capacity. Granted, when a capacity is off, all of the potential workloads you have. So if you're in a workspace and you have a lakehouse, you have a warehouse, you have a pipeline, none of those things will function. You cannot connect to the Fabric lakehouse to see the data that exists in there. You can't connect to your warehouse to see the data that exists in there. The pipeline won't run. So you're pausing, and everything that's in the workspace that this capacity is associated with won't be accessible. But you're also not paying anything. So if there is, and that's why from a development perspective, pay-as-you-go can make sense if you are responsibly managing these capacities and pausing them, turning them off, basically when you're not using them, right? So pay-as-you-go very much speaks to the developer side of things, but the reservation, once again, this is my performance. It's going to be on all the time. And there's a significant price savings on that. And that's where I mentioned basically having one of each. That's the beautiful part though. You can literally create a pay-as-you-go as long as you have the right permissions, right, in Azure portal and the quota limitations aren't being hit. But if you have the right capabilities, you can create 5, 6, 7 different Fabric capacities, technically any, but the pay-as-you-go makes more sense, right? That you'll create one, maybe you'll delete it when it's not being used, or you'll just pause it. That's the best part. You can create it, just pause it. We have a couple here at Pragmatic Works, and we turn them on and off as we need them. That's it. We can control their cost. At the end of this video, we'll show you a really fun, cool little thing that can help automate that process of turning on and off, or however you want to set it up. You can automate the process of pausing or starting your Fabric capacities. But where do we go and what do we, to do this, right? If we decide this is what I want an F32 pay-as-you-go. That's my choice. That's my decision. Well, whether you go pay-as-you-go or the reservation, this will all be done through the actual Azure portal. So you can see I'm logged in over in the Azure portal itself. If you're a little less familiar with it, that's okay. I'm just going to show you where this can be done. Historically, with like the P-SKUs premium, it was done through the Microsoft Office 365 kind of billing area. Here, everything is managed through the Azure portal, right? Of course, there's some configuration settings for the capacity. That is, of course, handled in the actual Fabric tenant settings, or pardon me, in the admin portal within the Fabric site. But this is just getting the capacity and purchasing it and pausing and starting it and that fun stuff. So here, if we look first at pay-as-you-go, you can see it's actually right here in my Azure services. But if you just type in Fabric at the top, you'll come across Microsoft Fabric, and this is where you can do pay-as-you-go. And you can see here at Pragmatic Works, I've got 2 available to me in this description. If I wanted to add a third one, literally all you do is hit create. It's just going to say, okay, under what description do you want to do this? Under what resource group am I going to do it? So I'm not actually going to finish this up, but I'm going to put it to that resource, or I could do a new one. I'm going to call it my new capacity. What my region is, generally you will want to, it has to be all lowercase, new capacity, PW. And region-wise can be impactful. Generally, Power BI, artifacts, stuff like that. Your region can have an impact for ingress, egress charges. So this is a bigger conversation around like Azure services. But generally, by keeping things within the same region, you're not incurring what are called ingress or egress charges. Our default here at Pragmatic Works is North Central US. That is where the Power BI tenant is located. So I would just leave mine as a default, but you can change this as you see fit. You can see here, if I put it in Switzerland, Norway, it says, hey, your tenant that you're trying to create this in is in a different spot, right? So there could be some compliance or performance issues. So that's why you definitely want to, let's see, central, where's North Central US? Take that into consideration. What type of size? And literally you can change this. And this is the great thing about pay-as-you-go. You can scale on demand. If I went ahead and hit F2 and we created this, like I'll show you in a moment, this is all you do. Literally what we've done, you hit review and create, and then you hit create, and you have a Fabric capacity. It is that simple and that easy to do. It's almost too easy, right? But you can see if I go to one of my existing capacities, right? This capacity right now is offline. You can see it's a very simple button. If I want to turn it on, just hit resume. But you can see under change size, I can move this from an F2 to an F4 to an F16 just by a click of a button. Pay as you go, completely scalable as you see fit, which is what we want from a development scenario and situation. But once again, it's all about managing whether the capacity is on or off to mitigate potential costs, which they don't need to be incurred if we're not doing anything, right? So this is pay as you go. If you're interested in the more predictable price, predictable performance for more production workloads, that would be under the reservations. So if we go back into the services and you just type in, you can just type in reservations, because you can do reservations for things other than Fabric. So when I click on reservations, you'll see when I hit add, it's going to go ahead and give me a bunch of different services. There's some familiar names in there, but if I hit Microsoft Fabric, we can see that we have a choice. Do I want to create a new reservation for Microsoft Fabric using this option here, which is going to be either an upfront, so you can just straight up pay upfront. Sometimes you can get bigger discounts by doing that. Or do I want to do it monthly? So you literally make your choice, and actually there's going to be an option here momentarily in which you can make these adjustments. But you'll see, I think there's actually one already sitting in my cart. I think I saw that. But you can see I can say, let me view my cart. Normally you'd hit add to cart, but I have a feeling, well, maybe it wasn't. I thought there was something in here. Let me pick that. I'm going to add to cart. And we can see it exists here. You can give the capacity a name. So the reservation name, so you can give it a name here. Once again, monthly versus upfront. Obviously the upfront kind of throws it all at you at once. And then we kind of just have to decide, you know, what type of capacity that is. If I want the 64, we can say here, monthly is going to be the 5002, which you can see that lines up exactly what we're seeing here. Whether you're going to be doing reserve pricing, whether you're doing pay-as-you-go, all of this is handled inside of the actual Azure portal itself. That's where you need to go to kind of configure this. And then if you need to kind of, create more, decommission something, that will be handled here. It's already tied to the tenant. So as soon as you create it here, they will show up inside the admin portal within powerbi.com or fabric.com, right? That's like, those will show up there pretty much instantaneously. And of course, there's more configurable things you can do on that side of it, right? So those are your two options when it comes to capacity licensing choices. The last thing that I wanted to provide you is a way if you're going to be leveraging pay-as-you-go. And there's many things out there. Once again, this is a programmatic way to turn on and or off your Fabric capacities. This is one blog that you can find amongst many. I just wanted to put it out there. We'll probably have a class later on showing this for like administration, how to manage cost. But as you move through, it talks about this and you can see it's simply giving you the way to design an Azure Data Factory pipeline so that you can turn on or off capacities. Now you might be thinking, wait, Azure Data Factory pipelines, couldn't I just use a pipeline in Fabric? Well, the problem is if that Fabric pipeline existed in a workspace that was using reserve pricing, because that would be always on, always available. If you have a pipeline in a workspace that has capacity that you're pausing, well, when the capacity is paused, the pipeline can't run. In order to do that, this article takes it from a perspective of using Azure Data Factory, simply configuring a pipeline which reaches out to certain API endpoints to get the name of these capacities. You check the status of it. And in our case, we have it so that every day at 5 p.m., it looks to see, are these capacities on? If they are, then it'll pause them so we can make sure that it doesn't accidentally get left after business hours. But you, of course, can configure this however you see fit. Now, as I showed you, of course, you can just pause things manually or resume it manually. But naturally, as time goes on, you get distracted, more capacities exist. You probably want to go this programmatic route just to be certain. Of course, if the capacities aren't on, the pipeline runs and nothing happens. It's just there as a precaution, right? So hopefully that all makes sense. Hopefully that's a better understanding and vision of what you have as far as choices right now for purchasing Fabric, all through the Azure portal. And then from there, off to the races you go so you can explore and examine all the different Fabric workloads. And also don't forget, every organization can have access to a Fabric trial to really test this out before deciding on what to purchase. As always, I hope you enjoy. I'll see you in the next one.